Don't trust your heart. Don't trust yourself. Don't trust your intentions. You're wicked from the core, and your heart will deceive you. You could have Satan inside your mind twisting your thoughts. So don't trust any of it. Listen to what somebody else is telling you. And when I finally stopped doing that and I did trust myself, I am more confident, and I know, like I have a confidence that I am on the right path and I'm doing the right thing. Hey y'all, I am coming to you from a little walk in the rain, so you guys can come along with me. Just thought I'd do a little resistance check-in and just kind of share my thoughts and just chat for a little while. I have been wanting to make videos this week. I have been nonstop, and there's the thunder, wish me luck. I've been wanting to kind of sit down and make some videos, but the whole sit down planning a video formal thing behind a microphone is just really not working for me right now. I'm so on the go that to sit and do something for that long is just not really possible. So you guys might get a lot more impromptu videos, car videos and walk videos. That's how I started on TikTok, was just going outside and walking around and talking. And then, with YouTube, I started making these like longer videos, and people would complain that my microphone wasn't good or my sound wasn't good. And anyway, I do not want to be doing this. I don't want to be an activist. I don't want to resist. I don't want to be pissed off all the time. I don't really like doing it. And okay, well, maybe in the moment I do. I do. A lot of times I do like doing it. But at the end of the day, when I'm just getting in my car and heading home, and it's just me alone with my thoughts, I'm on the windy mountain roads that I love so much, and the sun is going down, and it's just quiet. I think that I just want to be a person. I just want to exist and be left alone and leave everyone else alone. And I know I really shouldn't get bothered by negative comments, and normally I don't, but there's this one comment that just really gets to me, and I think it's just because I'm just so tired. And the comment that people make is that, I must be doing this because it's so lucrative. It's more lucrative than my deconstruction content. And that is very funny, because if I were to go back to doing my old content, I would probably double my YouTube income immediately. This is not more lucrative, and I don't even want to be doing political content. I just want to encourage people to take action. This is not political. This is literally about being a human being who's living in the United States of America. If you are a human being living in the United States, what's happening right now affects you, no matter who you are, unless you're like in the top 1% and you have all the money in the world, and you're white and straight. But this impacts you. And this is not about being political. It is about just preserving your own future, your own well-being, your own happiness, and that of everyone around you, your neighbors, the people that you love, your parents, your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your best friend. And the only reason I do what I'm doing and making the content that I'm making is because I just feel like I have to, because I have integrity for what I think and believe. And what I think and believe is that I have to be doing everything I can to resist this authoritarian regime, along with everyone else, and encouraging everyone else to do it. And if I really believe that, then that's what I'm going to do. And as most of you know, I grew up evangelical Christianity, and I was always taught you have to do the right thing. But the right thing was told to me. They told me what the right thing was, rather than letting me figure that out for myself. And so I always had someone else telling me what I was supposed to believe was right and what I was supposed to believe was wrong, what my opinions were, what I should care about. It was God and my parents and the community, and then they would tell me that I had to go out into the world and be a light for Jesus, that I had to be a shining example for him, and that how I appeared to everyone else and the things that I did and things that I said would be a reflection on Jesus. And so I had to behave a certain way and believe a certain way. And I've always wanted to do the right thing. I've always been a person that just wants to do the right thing. But for so long that I didn't know how to find what the right thing was for me because I had other people telling me. And for the first time in my life, over the last year especially, I have really harnessed the power of relying on myself to decide what's right and what's wrong, what I should or should not do. And even before, for a long time, being here on YouTube or being on TikTok, I constantly was thinking about the comments. What are people going to say? How are people going to take this? Even, people that agree with me. Oh, are they not going to like me? Are they going to disagree? Am I going to say the wrong thing? And it was always looking to other people, looking outside myself to figure out what the right thing was. And so I could never just get it right. I mean, I tried, but I never felt confident. And it has been through a lot of self-reflection, a lot of life changes, and a lot of therapy. But I have finally found the ability to listen to myself, that inner voice. And I think about this all the time, that the further away I get from Christianity, the further away I get from a belief in any kind of God or deity, the more I feel connected to whatever higher power may be. And when I say that, I just mean if something exists, and that could be just a universal power within me that connects to everyone else. It could be energy, it could be nothing, I don't know. But if something greater than me exists, it is propelling me and pulling me in the direction that I need to go. And even as I say that, I think it's me. It's always been me. And I remember realizing, it was like a light bulb moment at some point in my deconstruction journey, where I realized that when I was younger and I was praying to God and asking God for guidance, for a long time after I left the church, I would think about that, and I would cringe. I'd be like, oh God, it's so embarrassing. I used to just sit in my room and talk to myself. It's so embarrassing that I had this imaginary friend relationship as, an 18-year-old girl. That's so cringy. But I got to a point years later where it clicked for me that that guiding voice that I felt or thought was God, that relationship that I was kind of seeking was really just with me. That power, that guidance was within me all along. I just labeled it as God. And so now I feel as though I've really harnessed that. And I no longer care so much about what other people think. What are they going to say? Am I going to mess up? And are they going to misunderstand me? Because being misunderstood has been a big thorn in my side for most of my life. But now, instead of looking and thinking, oh, well, are they going to think I'm doing the right thing? I just look at me and I just say, do I believe I'm doing the right thing? What do I think is the right thing? Whatever that is, I'm going to do it. And I would hope that message would apply to everyone else. I hope that anyone and everyone, no matter who you are, what you believe, if you and I are complete opposites, that message would resonate with you. That you do have the power to look within and to trust yourself. And that a lot of times we are influenced by those around us who are only looking at us and looking at the world around them through their own perspective. But we all have our own incredibly unique perspective that nobody else in the world could ever know or understand like we do, like I do, about my own experience, and you do about your own experience. And what's right for me might not be right for someone else. And what's right for them might not be right for me. But if we're both doing what we know in our heart is right, based on our own foundational human understanding, based on our own foundational existence, then I think that we would all get along a lot better and the world would be a better place. Like if all of us, including myself, stop putting everyone else through these purity tests or expecting everyone else to share our same version of reality, our same ideas, our same beliefs. I'm not talking about our values and how we should treat one another. I think at the core of every human being, we all understand that love is such a foundational thing, and that acting from love is always an important thing, and that if you're causing harm, that's a bad thing. there are exceptions to everything. There's nuance in everything I'm saying, but I just mean expecting others to believe how you believe, do life the way you do, think the way you think. I spent so much of my life having other people tell me how I'm supposed to think, what I'm supposed to believe. And everyone else does too. We're all exposed to that. And most people, and I did for a long time, just fall into line. Other people tell them what to think. Their pastor tells them what to think. Their society tells them what to think. Instead of taking in the perspectives of others and then running it through your own process, a lot of people just adopt it without thinking. And then it just kind of spreads like a disease. Instead of just being one person's unique expression or perspective, it becomes this collective thing that might not apply across the board. I don't know if what I'm saying is coming out right. I think I'm getting a little abstract here, so I'm going to try to back up here. But I just think we're living in a world where we all assume that everyone else is living the same experience as us and that everyone else should think and believe like us. And I am done expecting other people to think the way I do. And, you know, I've been an atheist for a long time. I've never told other people that they should be atheists, although I think a lot of people assume that of me because they themselves think that other people should be like them. But it's like Christians walking around thinking everyone else has to be a Christian. Everyone else has to see God the way that they do. Or they are bad. They're put into the bad box. And then they're deserving of poor treatment. And then they don't have empathy for those people because why would you have empathy for someone that is bad? And then you have atheists who go around pointing fingers at Christians and saying, you should stop believing this because it hurts people. It hurts me. I don't like it. Rather than both sides, and I'm not just talking about Christians and non-Christians, but that's just one example. It could be Republicans and Democrats. It could be all kinds of different, subgroups of people. But if we all stopped pointing our fingers and saying, you have to think like me, and instead just paid attention to the way people acted, are they kind? Are they helpful? Are they compassionate? Are they empathetic? Are they understanding? Do they have a good heart? Do they have good intentions? Not what political party did they vote for? Not what do they believe about God? I think it's perfectly natural that we want to connect with one another and relate to one another. And I think that it makes sense that humans will look at other humans and say, I want us to be like one another. I don't like the way you are because it's not like me. I want us to be the same. I think that is a natural human desire, and it's not wrong. But it puts us in positions where we refuse to consider the actions of others, the hearts of others, and we don't consider how much we ourselves and also others are influenced by external things, by the opinions of others, by our society and the things we listen to. I wish we all spent more time just kind of going within and trying to figure out for ourselves, what do I believe? What do I think? Because I'm willing to bet that if we all did that, we'd probably mostly come to the same conclusions. I think we would. I think we would all agree, because when you boil out all the noise, we have the same basic values. Very simple values of just wanting to be well and wanting to be okay and safe and happy and free. It's just that all the noise gets there, and then it muddies the waters, and it gives us the inability to see people for people and for their intentions in their heart and for their potential. Because there's a lot of people out there that you might not like, that you might think have really bad beliefs, and sometimes those beliefs cause them to act in really awful ways, or just unappealing ways, really, not really awful, but just unappealing. But understanding their experience and what got them there, and maybe a little bit of compassion, a little bit of heart, a little bit of empathy might kind of change things. It might put them on a better path. A few days ago, I went to an event. Some of you saw a speaking event that my congresswoman was at, and we protested, and I posted a video about that. But after the event, a man walked out who somebody had told me was a Republican inside the event, but he was asking, some questions, kind of pushing back on the congresswoman, not necessarily praising her. And so I ran up to him, and when I ran up to him, he kind of had wide eyes. I think he thought I was gonna yell at him or something. But I just said, hey, I'm not trying to cause any problems. I just want to talk to you. I know that somebody over there said that you're a Republican, but you had some really good questions for the congresswoman. I'm obviously not a Republican. I'm out here protesting, as you see, But I'm just wondering, what's your feel? Like, what's going on? How are you feeling about this stuff? And so he kind of shared some thoughts. And then, I asked him a couple questions and we had a little bit of back and forth. I won't go into the details, but it was just a really nice, pleasant, civil conversation because I genuinely am curious. And, and then I just said, nice to meet you. He went on his way. I went on mine. That was it. And then I got a message from him on social media that night saying, thanks for the civil discussion. It was nice to meet you. I hope we can have more of this in the future. And, I kind of sent him something back. He sent me something back, and we were just kind of having this back and forth dialogue. And we vote very differently. But when we had a little chat, we realized that we actually agreed on pretty much everything. There's just a few little things here and there. And I think that perhaps there's some things that I misunderstand and some things that he misunderstands. But if we could just talk it out a little bit more, we might actually conclude that we agree. And yet we both voted completely different, at the ballot box. So it's those moments, and I've had so many of those moments, that remind me that we're all living very different experiences, but that we are so influenced by all this external bullshit that we forget to go inside and ask ourselves, what do I think? What do I think? And living in a Christian nationalist nation, that's usually frowned on. Don't be selfish. Why do you say I so much? I heard that so much growing up from relatives that should have been building me up and telling me to look within and telling me to trust myself, or telling me, don't trust your heart, don't trust yourself, don't trust your intentions. You're wicked from the core, and your heart will deceive you. You could have Satan inside your mind twisting your thoughts. So don't trust any of it. Listen to what somebody else is telling you. And when I finally stopped doing that and I did trust myself, I am more confident, and I know, I have a confidence that I am on the right path and I'm doing the right thing. And people aren't going to agree with it. They're not going to like it. And get back to your deconstruction content. Stop being political, whatever. I don't care. I just don't care, because I know that I'm doing the right thing. And I know in my heart that if I wake up every day and I say, what do I do today that I believe in? And I do it, that I'll always be fine. Always. And it's so crazy, because it reminds me of that Christian attitude that I lost for a very long time, where, the little old church lady says, well, God's got it. God's getting me there. I just got to trust the process. It's the exact same thing. I'm just, I haven't labeled it. Whatever it is it me? Is it God? Is it just some sort of an energy? Is it nothing? And I'm just making it up in my head? I don't know. I don't claim to know. The mystery is a lot more fun. But we're both doing the same thing. We're just trusting this process. We just might label it differently. So I thought I was coming to tell you a lot more about what's been going on in my life and the resistance, but I kind of just went off on something, and now I'm just going to end it and share it, because sometimes you just have to share your heart. So I'll be back as soon as I can. Again, you might have a lot of impromptu videos in the car and traveling around. I'm going to try to vlog my activism and activity a lot more, but when I'm in the moment, filming is like the last. I have my camera rolling, but actually creating content is just last on the list for me, because the action is a lot more important. So just bear with me as I try to maybe acclimate my life to filming a lot more on the go, and just sharing with you guys what I'm doing, and my heart and my thoughts and whatever else comes up. So yeah, take it easy. Take care of yourself, and don't stand outside with a metal rod in a thunderstorm. Don't be like me.